Hello everyone, it's a beautiful Monday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Mariah Afolabi Brand as always. I never do this alone. Happy Children's Day! All of us children. Yes, how you doing? How you doing, Mariam? How was your weekend?
Oh, weekend was fine, it was good, and I planned that when I come here today, I was going to just talk about all the fantastic and amazing things the kids did over the holiday, but sadly, I have to talk about what happened in Jos. My mom called me yesterday and another fight broke out in Jos. People were killed, houses were burned, and I am really sad. See, the Jos that I grew up and know is just fast, becoming a figment of something. I was just thinking, a lot of us, my generation, from childhood, primary school, university, I think that the generation after us would never know what Jos used to be like. It was our dream, to build retirement homes back in Jos. We wanted our children to go to school in Jos, and now you just hear this over and over again. I just hope, by some miracle, this would stop.
I understand how you feel.
Yeah, it's really sad.
Miracle we expect. We need government intervention.
Well, we can't keep blaming government. These are communities killing each other,
right.
And the government comes in to try and stop it, and
right.
that's what they've done.
Right.
So sometimes we should look to ourselves.
Exactly.
And
let me come to you. How are you doing, Abiachila? How was your weekend?
My weekend was glorious.
Yeah, smiling like this.
Oh, please. My weekend was good. I said I was going to rest this weekend, which I did. So I called Oga and I said, come on, there's no food in the house, and I'm not entering the kitchen. On your way back, please buy food. I was like, madam, what's wrong? I said, please, Oga, the doctor said I should rest, and I'm resting this weekend. So on his way, I told him what to buy this, buy that, go to get this pizza, get that. So he stocked up. I was just home
Everybody
eating
was enjoying.
and lounging. Cool. But yesterday was Children's Day in my church, so the kids did a lot of activities. They had their dances. My son played the keyboard in church. It was nice. It was fun. We had fun, basically.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
How are you doing, Topsy?
I'm good. So highlight of the weekend for my kids was attending the twins' birthday party on Saturday.
We missed that.
Yes, and they had fun. We're gisting about it. Then yesterday we spent with my in-laws, my husband's elder brother and family, and it was really nice. I haven't been there in a while. It was family time. We're gisting, discussing because she's into business, and we're just going through all that business means to us, comparing notes, and then she's doing social media so well, and I feel like I feel like I'm a master of social media, but I haven't monetized social media. She's been able to monetize it, so you just keep learning. So you might. There's always, I'm telling you, she's been able to do it.
Talk about past knowledge.
Sorry, talking about birthday party in Kiru. Our makeup artist.
So it's her birthday?
No, it's not her birthday. It's her niece's birthday. Her name is Victoria, and they also call her Vicky's. So happy birthday, Vicky's, from your birthday, Vicky.
Nice. Oh, fantastic. So people are doing correspondence. Happy birthday.
I'm telling you. How are you?
No, the party was nice. Actually, I didn't plan a party. I just wanted neighborhood kids to come watch a movie. And while the movie is going on, there was biscuits, there were cookies, there were popcorn, there were drinks. There's lots of things to munch on. And the kids came, and when they were done with the movie, they were just there. I said, okay, let's play a few games. And we played All Those Are Born in January, Stand Up. Like, please, we played back day.
I'm telling you, it was so nostalgic for me watching
so
it.
much fun. Dancing, they went outside, we played, we did all sort of games.
It was the games for me. It was the games for them, actually. It was the games.
So I realized that when we spend so much money buying things for our big party, it's ourselves. And aside from that, also getting professionals to do these games is always it should be a no-no now, because your parents actually get involved. The kids are more engaged. They want to feel like mommy and daddy are, because my husband and I were involved. We didn't get a professional to get the games, and it was fantastic. The kids had a ball. He came around. She brought rice. I said, I didn't ask for rice, but she made rice. She made chicken, which was good, because the kids, I didn't want anything rice. Any parents, I didn't want parents to be there. But it was nice. She made some rice and chicken and still for us, which is good.
You didn't talk about the speaking engagements. You know me, I monitored your weekend.
Right, yes, my husband.
No, it was her husband. It was really good.
3,000 kids. I went and saw them, I'm like, whoa. The room was electrified. Young people, I love teenagers.
And the church, what I was talking about was that the church engaged them because they have time and they need to be engaged. We need to do more to engage our children.
I also spoke on this inordinate need for attention. Such a powerful message. And I told him that he needs to really do it properly, do it module, because he needs to break it down properly, because children need this information. Because all of us do things because we want attention. Everything.
And if you can nip it there.
The fact that you do a lot of get engaged in a lot of vices is because of that need. Let them
to connect.
And honestly, that was a fantastic message. And I think I told him that, you know what,
you have to break it down and put it into models. We will market it, we will sell it.
We are available for lots of things. Let's go and break it. It's Monday, it's Children's Day. We'll be right back. Let's start with the nation. Naikon prays against bad advices for Buhari. And I'd like to quote him, because he's actually all over the papers. The greatest of God's gift to us, life itself, is in danger all over our land. Gunmen and women have been sowing death, destruction, and misery amongst everywhere. Property, well-being, harmony, and peace are endangered by generalized insecurity. Before God, this is the truth, and not a political propaganda mounted to discredit the government. The nation must be mobilized to join hands to face the disaster looming over all of us. Oshibaja, on the other hand, says he sees a bright future at the inauguration service. Ngige to state, don't delay minimum wage. Senate, House rush to amend EFCC Act, and $40,000 scholarship for the UTME best. We'll talk about that a bit later because we took it elsewhere. We'll take it elsewhere. But let's talk about this major headline on Icon. Everybody's talking about this looming danger. Obasanjo just started this conversation a couple of weeks ago, last week. So go ahead.
So the looming danger, even the Southwest PDP head, Dr. Eddie Olafeso, is also saying that the past 4 years, there's a lot of insecurity that has increased in the country, and that the entire Southwest is flooded with
over 1,100 cells of Boko Haram.
And that we need to do something about it. And I know that it's easy to just, for political reasons, for people in the current administration to think that anybody that says anything opposing to the current administration is just trying to witch hunt or attack their personality. But are there issues on ground? Yes. Do we have insecurity challenges? Yes. Can we just deal with them as opposed to pinpointing who is saying something bad?
People might actually resort to self-help if they see that the government is not trying to defend them the best they can. But the fact that everybody's saying this thing is getting scary. People have been talking about it from the phone. Last week, Obasanjo just started it back to back. Now we're having people saying the Southwest, especially the southern part, even the Igbo leaders, Honourable, is saying exactly the same thing. That their Boko Haram cells infiltrated in the whole of South, and we need to be careful. Let's move on now to...
I want to take the minimum wage story.
Go ahead.
Yes, so Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, has said that the minimum wage will take effect. It will be backdated when they start paying to April 18, which was actually when the president signed the bill. And no state should say they don't have the money to pay. That even the private sector have started enjoying it already because they have started paying. But with all these bureaucratic measures... Moving
on to The Punch. Children's Day. NUT bemoans worsening state of public primary schools, and you have to see the front page of Punch.
Terrible.
It is a national disgrace. And I have to tell you, Lagos State is part of it. Because right here is Lagos State, and the pictures are horrible. These are children sitting on the floor, collapsed roofs all across different states. These are primary schools in this country. Residents blame LCDA chairman as Ogun begins demolition of 300 buildings. National Assembly management asks lawmakers to quit offices by Tuesday. Don't blame JAM if best student misses choice varsity, says board. Minimum wage will be paid from 18th of April, says Ngige. And insecurity, the Yoruba Council of Elders urges Yoruba to be vigilant. We just talked about that. Let's take the major headline, and then this young boy, the young boy that did very well in UTME. But let's start
the major headline. Punch carried out investigation. They went to different primary schools from across states. They went to Benue, Cross River, Imo, Plateau, Gombe, Osun, Enugu. A lot of primary schools, they said they don't have good classrooms, and even those that are under the classrooms, they have leaking roofs, no good toilets. A lot of students are schooling under, taking their lectures under the trees, using their laps as the table.
It's terrible.
It was really, really terrible. And I have visited a primary school that was last year with a foundation, one of their affiliates, and I went there, went to do a toilet for them. I cried when I entered the building. I'm like, a lot of us are sitting down. We have kids in good schools, but these are people's children.
If we now look at the
and they all blame the state government.
Yes. See, these children are staying under the tree. The state governor, I'm sure.
Children are not in Nigeria.
So, anyway, I want to take the story of this young man, Franklin. I think his name is, I can't remember his first name, but his surname is Franklin. He got 349 in his scores, and in his JAM scores, and he picked University of Lagos. Unfortunately, because he's 15, University of Lagos can't take it because their own rules are 16 years minimum. Now, Ghanaian College, however, is offering him a scholarship of $40,000 to come over to Ghana because they're willing to take it. They're willing to engage him because he's got the highest in the country. 15-year-old
smart person.
Very brilliant boy. So we are putting rules and saying we can't take him. Ghana is saying, please bring him.
Please.
In fact, I'll give you
I mean, most countries would do that. Once you're seen to be highly intelligent, they would
be smart person.
I mean, we have
Thank you, Ghana, for taking Franklin, and I really pray that he becomes a star as he already is. Let's move on now to Vanguard. Southwest under siege, Yoruba elders Agbekoya tells federal government. As I said, everybody's talking about this issue of headsmen. Actually, it wasn't Boko Haram, it's headsmen.
Yeah.
We kept saying Boko Haram, it's headsmen. They have their 1,100 cells of headsmen across Southwest. That was the story. Moving on now to two more. JUTH, that's Just University Teaching Hospital, undertakes first brain surgery using drilling machine.
Wow.
Apapa gridlock, truck drivers defy Buhari's directive. Missing chartered accountant Adewura found dead in canal.
Oh, God.
New minimum wage, no government can say he won't pay. All right, let's talk about this young lady that passed on, the accountant.
Yes,
okay.
Do you have a story?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
26-year-old.
Which story do you have?
Okay, I have the Just University Teaching Hospital story. Of
You
course,
have the Just story.
Of course, and this is, why I love Just. So at the Just University Teaching Hospital, neurosurgeon Dr. Benite, his daughter and I actually went to school together.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they just performed brain surgery over the weekend at the Just University Teaching Hospital itself, and it's groundbreaking because this is the first time he says that you're able to do a brain surgery. You drill a hole into the head and still be able to see the different parts of the brain without necessarily taking out the brain, which they used to do. To be able to work on a part of the brain, they would take it out, and a lot of times people would die. But now you don't need to do that because you just drill a hole and able to see everything. So and it was successful.
Fantastic.
And you see what we're talking about, Just it's so beautiful, and they're so amazing people there.
Can you take us to this Just?
Oh yes.
They've been doing this other countries for Brazilian years, so that's why
we're
we're
doing it in Just right now.
Fantastic in
So.
Just.
Then the accountant, yes, was finally found. She was missing on Wednesday. Yeah. According to a reporter, it was after the rains, the flood. So there's this canal around their area, Egbeda. She stays in Egbeda. So the last time she called in the evening was around 5-something that she was around Iyanokbaja about to take a bike. But the story that was given was that the bike man was warned that area he wanted to take was very, very bad because of the flood. And then the canal took her. She was found dead, and
it was really sad.
Our hearts goes out to them.
The sad thing about this thing is that she had been reported kidnapped. And there's stories that there were actually a group of people that had collected monies from her family, claiming that they knew where her whereabouts,
Oh my
just
God.
to find out that
People were just profiteering off.
Can you imagine where we are right now?
Moving on to the Nigerian Tribune. Yoruba leaders back Obasanjo over colonization agenda. Nigerians must be mobilized to face looming disaster Onayekan warns again. Aisha Buhari's stance on 500 billion naira social investment fund vindicates or says PDP. Apapa gridlock task force moves articulated vehicles off Lagos roads. And NNPC recorded crude oil gas turnover 490 million naira in February. Buhari meets northern governors over insecurity today. But nobody's taking this gridlock, but let's talk about Aisha Buhari. Do you have the gridlock?
Yes. So we remember the 72-hour ultimatum was given. There were some people that were too stubborn, so they were forcibly, their articulated vehicles were forcibly taken off these roads and then taken to different LASMA centers across the state. Unfortunately, a LASMA official lost her life. There was this particular driver who was reversing without looking back, and he rolled over her. By the time she was taken to the hospital, she had passed. Her name is Mrs. Arogundade Remilekun. your soul rest in peace. Yeah.
But as I said, the trucks are not yet out the roads. They're still there.
There's
They're not
most of
completely
them
off.
are, yeah.
Well, not most of them. Some of them have gone off, but they're still there. So we still give them 1 week, Abi?
Where are they?
1 week is not
No,
yet.
they gave us 72. We stayed
We gave them. We gave
Mariah
them.
gave
1
them,
week.
yes, give them more time.
Yeah, give them 1 week, and I said after we'll see what happens. But I was the story I want to take Aisha Buhari. Our president's wife is speaking again.
She's always speaking.
She said that this 500
her.
billion naira social investment fund that they are saying they had, she doesn't understand it though, because in her own state, Adamawa, only one out of 22 local governments got that 10,000 naira they were giving to marketers, to traders. Only one local government. She doesn't understand the fact that when she went to Kano, she asked one man, a party trader, so how much were you giving? He said 3,000 naira. She asked, I thought it was 5,000 naira they were giving you people. How come you said it's 3,000 naira? So she doesn't know where the other balance went to. And then there's a $60 million money.
16 million
that
naira.
was
16 billion
No.
naira.
Dollar.
16 billion naira for mosquito net project.
Okay, me, I saw
16
dollars.
billion
The
naira.
article me I read said dollars, so maybe it's because she was saying that $1 million could have been used to actually totally eradicate malaria across Nigeria, but they used it to buy mosquito net. Shio did not see it.
Any mosquito
Her
net.
village did not get it
Sorry,
either.
her own village did not get this mosquito net. So
she's just speaking up against misplaced priority in terms of this disbursement of this fund. So you have funds to do social intervention programs, but you're spending the money in a way that does not really get to the heart of the issue, that we can spend this money better. That's all she's
You're
saying.
not being held
for
accountable.
interpreting it in an educated way. But Shah, our president's wife, said she doesn't know where this money has gone. Moving on to Daily Sun. South on the siege of herdsmen. We've been talking about this, and I pray that Lord Almighty that will just protect us, because
We have to keep
if
praying
what
on
they
this
are
matter.
saying is true, then there's a problem. But let's just move on. Apapa gridlock, trucks, trailers defy federal government. May 30th, ADF asked Igbo to wear black clothes and bands. NAF fighter jets destroy more bandits camps, kill squads in Zamfara. And 30,000 naira took effect from April.
So the director of the National Air Force, Air Commodore Ibikule Daramola, made known that there was an attack, and that the attack was carried out on a bandit camp, and they were able to disperse them, and a lot of them were killed. We don't have the number of those killed yet, but he's saying that this is specifically attacking a camp, because you know there's allegation that the attack carried out by the Air Force was carried out on innocent lives, but he's saying this was specific, and they know that they got the target they intended to. Good news from Zamfara and for Zamfaras.
I'd like to take this day very quickly. Major headline: Buhari meets northern governors today over worsening insecurity. And the picture of a young lady, Professor Patutome Miss Temi Otedola, representing her father and the business mogul Femi Otedola, doing the conferment of Zig Prize for Business Leadership 2018, which is a great feat for.
So our president
Otedola.
is having a meeting today with all the northern governors. And they're also expecting that to address the insecurity challenges of the North. And we're hoping that this meeting is profitable. They also intend to, we know we don't have a budget yet. 2019 budget hasn't been passed yet as of now. And we're already in May. May has ended, about to end, and we don't have a budget yet. But he's also open to, we're expecting that he will sign the budget into law today. So today is a very important day.
Trust me, even me, I'm very busy today, sir. As well as Children's Day. The Guardian, Buhari under fire over nation's oil sector woes. Picture of your little kids. At kids of Lighthouse Christian Outreach Center celebrating 2019 Children's Day in Lagos. There's no other story. We're taking all this hope, disappointment, and renewed hope. That's just on the editorial page. That's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, it's Children's Day, so we're talking all about kids. But first, we have a lot of hot topics concerning children. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So it's World Milk Day, which is June 1st. It's a day established by the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, of the United Nations to recognize the importance of milk as a global food. We have with us in the studio Senior Brand Manager, Peak Afolarin Ojo, and the Vice Chairman, Nutrition Society of Nigeria, Lagos Chapter, Cecilia Peng. Welcome to the show, lady and gentlemen.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So good to have you. Now, you're on the show for Peak. Tell us about what Peak is doing this time.
Thank you. World Milk Day, it's a day set aside by the UN Food and Agriculture Organization, and it's celebrated every 1st of June. It's a day to call attention and raise the importance of milk, its consumption, especially for growth and development. For PIC, as the leader in dairy category in Nigeria and thought leader, it's a good opportunity for us to bring to life our campaign on why Nigerians should include pig milk in their diet on a daily basis. And good to note, the theme for this year, for the World Milk Day, is to enjoy the power or the goodness of milk, which is translated as #EnjoyDairy. So our message to Nigerians, as we take them on a journey throughout this week, is to say, enjoy the goodness of milk or dairy with a pig breakfast.
Let me come to you, because the importance of milk, dairy products, obviously. Could you tell us why it's important, what the nutritional benefits of using, at least taking a glass of milk a day?
A glass of milk, I take it to mean a full glass of milk, okay? Now, when you're taking milk, especially in the morning, with your foods, depending on what kind of foods that you're having, you get a lot of nutrients. You have your vitamins, the minerals, and sometimes when it's fortified with vitamin D, you know that especially the children will not grow up with rickets. You know, they're going to have their immunity will be protected, their bones would be properly built. And apart from that, you also have the vitamin B complex, you have other vitamins, calcium, of course, that you know about. So you get quite a lot of vitamins, and of course you have the lactose, which is the milk sugar. It's a carbohydrate. And then you have, for 244 grams of milk, maybe like a cup like this, you have about 8 grams of protein, okay, which is more than what you have in an egg.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you, as long as you're taking as much as that.
Right.
Now, most people may not be, in other words, you might be taking like...
evaporated milk.
Yes. So you need to drink a lot, not just having maybe half a sachet or one sachet split over 4 people in a family. You definitely are not going to get that.
So what sort of activities have you created to celebrate, to mark your World Milk Day?
Oh, thank you. So starting from today, with the Children's Day, we're celebrating with the children across 4 key cities, Lagos, Abuja, Enugu, and in Edo State. And our message is, we're giving the kids an experience of a pig breakfast. So it's tying in with our campaign, which we launched this year, where we're telling Nigerians, let's improve on the culture of having a breakfast. But not just a breakfast, as we call it, it's a breakfast with pig in it. And this week we've called it, for us, a National Breakfast Week. Then the first ever of it, to create the awareness for Nigerians on why you should take a breakfast that has pig in it, because research have shown breakfast is arguably the most neglected meal of the day, and it fills you with the energy you need to do all you have to do. If you are able to make time for your breakfast, regardless of how busy you are, for an example, I had a cup just in the car. When I parked here, I had it with a snack bar and then with a cup of tea with milk, with pig in it. That helps you to power your day. You get more things done. Cognitive ability
I've always wanted to ask this question, and it's a good thing you're here. My kids, when they want to take milk, and I noticed that they always want to just take the full cream evaporated. Is that right, or should it be diluted?
So just
with cereal.
Just like every consumption, it's based on preference. It is nothing is wrong with having the full cream milk as it is.
Undiluted.
Nothing is wrong with it.
Cereal.
Oh. Like Cecile just mentioned, it's fortified. It's something you could have. So it's based on preference.
Right.
So what matters is make sure it's a pig milk you're drinking, because that's what you know is fortified with what you need.
So I wanted to ask, especially you, Cecile, that, you know, first time I'm hearing about the difference in quantity and what that makes, you know. So how should people take this, to take their drink, to take the milk, to take the pig? How do you drink it in order to prevent the challenges of malnutrition? Because I know people say that by drinking milk, you prevent onset of the sicknesses that are attached to being malnourished.
You know, you're not just taking milk. You're usually taking milk with something else, except, of course, when you're drinking raw milk, you know, in a bottle, you can just pour it and drink it. But when you're taking milk and you're having a breakfast, for instance, my breakfast, what I'll do is dice my fruits, whether pawpaw, mango, whatever is in season, or apples, whatever it is that is in season, I just dice it into a plate and I roast my peanuts in there, and then I add maybe 1 or 2 spoons of gari instead of any of the cornflakes or any of those refined foods. Just add that, which is a more natural food, and I have my breakfast. That way it's more nourishing. So I get the vitamins and the minerals, the vitamin C even from the fruits, and I also get the fiber from the foods.
So did your society verify the nutrients in pig milk?
Now, when you're talking about the society, you know, talking about verifying, verification of that is left to NAFDAC.
Okay.
Okay, let's talk about...
So you have a campaign, WAMCO's visit to dairy farms in Oyo State. Could you please give us more details about that?
Okay, so our story with the dairy farmers dates back as far as 2011. And what we do with the dairy farmers is, this is where the raw milk, which we use in the production of our product, pig milk, comes from. And what we are doing is, across 5 different local governments in Oyo State, part of where I come from, we are going to the farmers to celebrate the great effort they do in producing the raw milk. And that's the story we call From the Grass, where the cows are raised, into the glass, like the cup you have on the table. So we're going back to the farmers to celebrate with them the World Milk Day and help them appreciate such a great job they're doing by nourishing Nigerians with this raw milk. And what better way to make the story complete by going back to give them an experience of the product that was produced from the raw milk, so that they can also have an experience of a pig breakfast.
So
That's
how
exactly
do we
what we're
get
doing.
people, because I know that the breakfast agenda you've put together is to get people to have breakfast.
Yes.
So what are the various suggestions you can provide, aside from what she just told us, that we can use pig milk in the mornings? How do we use pig in the morning, aside from your tea?
Oh, beautiful one. So there is also a campaign with the brand we've been running for well over 3-4 years, where it says you can do a lot more with pig.
Okay.
Whether for those who do the cereal in the morning, or for tea in the morning, or those who do the pap, which is the local one, every food you can think of, you can add pig milk into it, whether as a drink or into the food itself.
To soups.
So we wouldn't tell you to do into soups, but I've heard of soups, but I've heard of someone who did that to soups. So typically, I know someone who has said, it could be pig breakfast your way. So I imagine people who are on the street, when I have the bread and the akara in it, which is risky burger, and they just pour the powder.
Risky burger.
And they just pour the powder, they pour the pig powder into a glass.
Inside.
If you walk around the bus parks, you'll see that, and then they just have it. So regardless of how you have your breakfast, there is a perfect way to add your pig milk into it.
So it's Children's Day. Is there any activities for the kids we're planning soon?
Yes, exactly. So we're today, like I said, we're at the Abuja National Stadium today. We're also in Lagos, we're in Enugu, and we're also in Benin City. Across these strategic cities, we are there with children this morning to sample them with a pig breakfast.
Oh, nice.
So across all these locations today, the children their breakfast is on us.
So in Lagos, where do we go to in Lagos?
We're at the National Stadium in Lagos, where
wow.
we're sampling them. And the event is currently ongoing. I'm sure before 10 a.m.
Wow.
we should be fine.
Oh, wow. So if you're actually, it's still 9:30, so if you're in that area, you can actually stop
Please
by
walk into the stadium and have your
get
breakfast.
Is it
free?
Right now, it's on us.
Is it
It's
free?
on us.
It is free.
It's on us.
pig.
I wanted to.
It is free. It's on us today.
Thank you
And
so much.
that's our way of showing that indeed there is a lot more we can do when you show and walk the talk. And with that impact, we will take it on and say, Nigerians, this is it in your hands. Make sure you have a pig breakfast so you can have your day go well and be unstoppable.
Thank you very much, sir, for coming. Wednesday is our anniversary. We'd like you to send some pig for our audience. They would love it.
Well noted.
All right, that's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, we talk more about kids. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So there are lots of organizations that deal with helping children in less privileged communities in different ways, especially through mentorship. We have people in the studio who will be enlightening us on how they are securing scholarship and reviving hopes for better lives of children who are underprivileged. Joining us is the convener, Chess in the Slum, actually, Mr. Tunde Onakoya. Welcome to the show. Good to have you on the show. So you embarked on a project to help young people leave the slum by engaging them in chess, in the game of chess. How did this start, and how do you teach these children this game?
Okay, so first off, this is a very personal journey for me because I grew up around the slum community. So I learned how to play the game of chess at a very young age. And learning how to play chess at that age practically saved me, from that place. And now I'm giving other children the same opportunity. We're using chess as a driving tool to push, to help these kids. A lot of people don't understand a lot about chess yet. They think it's just a game and all. But it's a game of the mind. It's a game that challenges you. It's a game that liberates the mind, basically. So we're using the concepts this game teaches to help these children to train their thoughts at the very young age.
Before we get into chess, since you already brought that up, could you just give us a flash into your past? What exactly happened and how you found chess in like a few seconds?
Okay, I grew up in Ikuyinminu, around a place called Isaleodo.
Okay.
So the school I attended, Interp College, chess was taught there as a curriculum subject.
Okay.
So that was my first encounter with the game. I was in basic 6. So yeah, I learned how to play chess then. And then I started winning tournaments when I was in GSS2. I remember something in GSS2, my very first tournament. I defeated this boy, an Indian boy, and I remember the kind of confidence it gave me then that if I can do this, if I can be really good at this game, then I can, be the best at anything I put my mind to. So, yeah.
When you started out, I'm really curious because I expected to see an elderly man, but you're a young person, trying to use your life to impact other children, and I applaud you for that. How were you able to buy people into your dreams? Because we have a lot of young people saying they want to do this, they want to do that, nobody's supporting. How were you able to get people to support you?
Okay, we started this last year, September. So when we started at first, it's a new concept, kind of. So to explain this to people that you want to use chess to change lives, a lot of people won't get it. So it was a bit hard to get people on board to support and to even give attention to this. But thankfully, I had friends, even from the chess community, because I'm a professional chess player too. People supported, people started, raising funds. I wasn't even sure how everything was going to turn out, but I had a chessboard and I had, a dream to make this happen. And we just pushed for it, then support came, yeah.
So what is it about chess? Because just recently, a young boy, 8-year-old Tani Toluwa Adewumi in America, a Nigerian boy living, homeless Nigerian boy, and he happened to just do so well in chess. So what is it about chess that makes them seem almost like a celebrity when they win? I mean, there's football, there are other kind of games, but why chess? Why is it so important? Okay,
chess is a noble game. I like to call it a game of kings and queens. And Tani Toluwa's story, that boy, $300,000 was raised for that boy because, he won a chess tournament. Now, he winning that chess tournament is not the, the great story. It's the story of this boy being able to master. Chess is a very complex game. For a boy at that age to be able to win a competition and also play so well, it's a game. It's a noble game. A lot of prominent people play this, and this boy has been able to master it at a very young age, and I think that was what made him stand out.
You say it's a noble game, and I respect that. And I, as you're talking, my heart bleeds because you live in Nigeria. I feel like you're a huge talent. You're somebody that another country will see and like, this is our star. But you are here. You're facing the slum, trying to give them hope. Tell us what exactly is your dream. What's the end result for you?
Okay, the end result for me is to, get these children, change their lives. Now, get them scholarships. Because one thing chess does is it exposes you to a community of people. Chess is a game that connects people from all over the world. It's a game that has no borders, no limitations. So we're using this game to connect these children that live in the slums. We held an event last year, themed Chess Without Borders. So we invited Tosin Oshinowo. She was the architect that designed Maryland Mall.
Yeah.
You know, we got some of the children to teach her how to play chess. You know, it was a connection, two hearts endeared together through the game of chess. So my dream is to use this game to connect these children with the outside world.
What has chess done for you so far?
For
today?
me, I play chess professionally.
Okay.
And I can say chess has helped to shape my mind.
Okay.
You know, chess has given me a lot of opportunities. I've met a lot of people through chess. I've met a lot of good people. And I run a business, a chess instruction company in schools.
Wow.
And yeah, so
Let me take this call now. I'll come to you. Olatobi, are you still there? Thanks for calling.
All right, thank you. Good morning.
Go ahead. You're live. Go ahead, please.
All right, so like I said, the game of chess, it is actually a game I learned as a kid from my brother, and it has actually helped me a lot in my education aspect. Actually, I'm not in the university, but through the game of chess, I've learned a lot of things. I've learned how to think ahead. It really made me smart. I can make decisions on my own without going to anybody. So, and at times when I get some situations, problems, I get stuck. Understand? I get to think once or twice before I get the solution to the problem. And I am able to do that through the game of chess.
Okay.
And the game of chess is a game that does a lot for kids. And I would encourage the federal government to actually see this game of chess as a very, very important aspect in our educational system.
Thank you very much, Obi. Thank you very much. Let's talk about
Okay, so I wanted to ask you about, I know that they say game of chess challenges you and helps you build your capacity for strategy.
yeah, true.
And so most brilliant minds, they say, play chess.
Play chess, yeah.
But what exactly is your foundation doing? So you teach these children chess.
Yeah.
What is the in hope to get them to have scholarship? Do you have any testimony, any success story already right now from those that you've taught chess that had no idea living in a slum that has been able to better their life so far?
Yes, definitely. Like I said, we started this 8 months ago, and so far, you know, we've been able to reach amazing landmarks. We've had a BBC do a documentary on our project. We've had scholarships lifelong scholarships for like 5 of our kids.
Wow.
So far. Then just a month ago, one of our girls, she tied for first position in the national under-10 competition, Odunayo. You know, 2 other kids have won cash prizes from tournaments, and they're barely 8 months into the game. They're playing amazingly well. It is unbelievable.
That's so
Let me
good.
take this call from Odoya. Morning, are you there? Hello.
Hello, Mariah. Good morning.
Good morning, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning to the guests on the studio.
Good morning.
You see, the situation in this country is very boring. And like what you read in newspaper headline this morning, the boy that scored the highest score in JAMB. We don't value what we have. And that's the reason why the American, other countries, when they knew what we have, they value, and see what we said now, Ghana has already asked the boy to come for a scholarship. Why Nigeria rejected it? We don't value what we have.
Right.
We don't value it. And what is very, very painful. It's like what this guy is saying now.
Right.
You know, we don't value what we have.
Thank you very much,
We always
Josie.
do
You're right.
something that, at last we regret.
Thank you very much,
Nigeria, we
Johnson.
don't value.
That very little time. Let me
I'm
just
happy Johnson
come
is,
straight.
this man did not blame the government the way
Right.
Johnson is blaming. Because we have to stop blaming and do what we can in
How
our
do you fund
capacity.
it? How do you fund your projects?
So far, we've just support from friends and family. We're trying to register our organization properly, then we can start pushing for complete sponsorship.
So we have a problem of drug abuse in our hands right now among children and youths, and problem of cultism. How do you see chess helping these children to stay away from such vices?
Okay, great. Like I said, chess is a game of strategy. You know, it helps you in making decisions. Using the game of chess to get these kids off the streets, because you don't just tell them to stop doing drugs. You have to give them something. Yeah, of course. So chess is just the amazing, platform for that. You give them chess, it engages their mind, helps them to make better decisions. And from there, you see their lives changing gradually.
Is there any hope for old ladies like us?
Oh, of course.
Your time has come.
Of course, you can learn. Chess transcends age, gender, anything. You can still be a chess champion.
Exactly.
So if you set your mind to it, so it's possible.
Old age.
Yes.
You're not all those people. Thank you so much. Well done. I really applaud what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I only hope that this country that you live in, our country, will support your projects and make you a shining light that you are.
Thank you.
Let's go on a break.
Okay.
You want to say one more thing? Please go ahead.
I want to do a shout out to the team, the amazing team, and the very these very two beautiful ladies here, Aini, Udo, Mary, and Bukola Benjamin.
Okay.
Then
Volunteers.
Yeah, volunteers.
Are you married?
No, I'm not married.
Don't marry yet. Please focus on this project. The women will come later.
Okay.
The women will come later.
All right, no problem. Thank you.
To the team, well done.
To the team, well done. They're watching.
All right, let's go on a break. When we come back, we're still talking about kids. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So confidence is one of the greatest gifts a parent can give their children. Report says that a child who lacks confidence will be reluctant to try new or challenging things because they're scared of failing or disappointing others. We have with us the Speaker, Lagos State Children Parliament, Raphael Ikuyinminu. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, man. It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay, so your presence alone is intimidating me, but it's all good. So you're the Speaker of the Lagos State Children Parliament.
Yes, ma'am.
What is that about? A lot of people don't have an idea this exists. What is it about exactly?
Okay, the Lagos State Children's Parliament is a body of children representatives that are gotten from the various constituencies in Lagos State. We are a total of 42, 2 from each local government and 2 from the federal capital. So what we do is we advocate for child's rights. We deliberate on issues that are affecting the Nigerian child, and we make resolutions and make sure that those resolutions are put into effect. And we also try as much as possible to speak for the interest of the Nigerian child in any public issues that we are called upon to speak on. So that is basically what we've been doing so far.
As a speaker, what are the kind of issues young people raise at this parliament?
So far, issues like drug abuse, children in traffic, road law, we've had a sitting, we've had deliberations on that, and because the safety of a child is very important, is very precious. So we've had discussions around children who are especially in our roads, considering the condition of our roads and ensuring that they are safe even as they go to schools and churches every day.
So when you make this deliberation, especially concerning this one that you just mentioned now, the children hawking, children on the roads, when you make that deliberation, what happened? So you create this new policy. How do you push it? What powers do you have?
Okay, for we the Children Parliament, ours is to deliberate on it and push it via various platforms. We do it, we push it through the social media as well as going to schools and create the sensitization and the awareness. We take our resolutions to the House of Assembly and ensure that it is proposed and everything is.
So you get a certificate, once it's approved by the House of Assembly, then you go out to disseminate the bill. Go ahead.
So I heard that you guys undergo leadership trainings regularly. What's the training about?
The trainings are, first of all, to build our self-confidence so that we can stand and speak in front of people, because people feel like children are not that outspoken. So the trainings are there to make us become outspoken and give us that idea of what leadership is all about.
Okay, let's take a step back a bit. Let's take a step back.
Okay.
How were you selected in the beginning? Did you run for office or were you just picked?
Okay, we were nominated from our various secondary schools. We were gotten from our educational district. There are 6 educational districts in Lagos State. Okay. We are part of the students that do represent in various competitions like the debates and the spelling bees and all of that. So we were nominated.
Right.
Okay.
So that was how we were chosen.
Were it public schools or private schools?
Public, private, and other voluntary organizations like the Red Cross and the rest.
So when you finally get to meet your adult counterparts, do they really take your your laws
With the
seriously?
revision,
Do they take it seriously? Have you seen anything that you have pushed for come to fruition?
Yes, we have, because issues concerning children are not to be taken lightly. They are to be taken seriously.
Give us an example, one.
Like the one I spoke to you about earlier, the children in traffic,
Right.
children moving and all of that. So we made sure that there was a time in Lagos State that children are not supposed to be hawking in the street instead of being in school. Any child that is found on the road during school hours should be arrested and taken to the police station, and then they will make sure that that child should be in school.
Right.
So a lot of that, we have made sure that things like that are well attended to, So we also have issues of child abuse, where parents beat their child. You see a child, when the child takes off their clothes and there are a lot of marks on their body and stuff like that. So whenever we get issues like that, we make sure that...
So they report such to you?
Yes.
So you follow up with the police and all of that?
Exactly.
Oh.
So that is basically
I
what we
observe
do
your
now.
posture, your confidence. Now, you say that's how you're trained. For those out there that are young, like you're 18 years old,
Yes.
there are those out there that are young and they want to have that same confidence. Could you give us a few tips on things you were taught on how to be able to express yourself?
Okay, personally for me, I think it started from the smallest unit of the society, which is the family.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I think self-confidence is built from the family. It comes from a sense of competence as a child. Once a child is given that opportunity to do things by themselves and test how knowledgeable, how intelligent they are, they began to have this sense of confidence in them that they can take on things.
Because I wanted to say that when I met him, he was just inaugurated a speaker, and he was already as confident as this. So, beyond the trainings were additional to what you already had.
So give me some of it, because it's important that this information you just gave us is important, because we want a lot of parents to understand what they can do. Could you tell us a few things your parents did that gave you that confidence, that the kind of projects they let you do, that made you feel that, yes, I'm worthwhile?
Okay, thank you very much. Now, to begin with, I am privileged to come from a family that I'm allowed to express myself, especially in matters that concerns me, regardless of my introverted nature.
Introverted?
Yes, I'm an introvert, but I come from that family where we debate, we talk about issues that are affecting even the society. And regardless of how small I was, my opinion always mattered, my opinion always counted. So when I am at home and I feel at home, hope you know that home is not the building you stay, it is the sense of safety, the sense of belonging. Because most children don't have their home in their home. Their homes are with their friends or some other things that they do. So I feel at home whenever I'm at home. So that gives me the ability to express myself at home.
You are guys serious.
You are such an impressive young man. I just can't help smiling. And I'm wondering, do you meet your age mates who are not as privileged as you?
You know, who are public school? No, we need to emphasize that. Sorry.
You know, who are not as privileged as you, did not come from the sort of home that you come from, where you're encouraged to speak. Do you have other classmates that you sort of encourage and teach to have the sort of confidence that you have?
Yes, I did. Back then in secondary school, I presided the Literary and Debating Society of my school, and we organized a lot of conferences and competitions that are there to boost the confidence of my fellow students, and that helped a lot. I always tell them that where you're coming from it doesn't determine where you're going to. So first of all, you have to have that belief in yourself that where I am right now is not where I will be tomorrow. So you have to start taking steps. You have to learn some things. People are not going to teach you some basic things. You have to learn them for yourself. So
Independence.
Let me take this call from the UK. Morning, are you there?
Yeah, hello, good morning.
Morning, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I just want to drop a message for you. Please, can you please send me a message through WhatsApp, because I try to come down to Nigeria. I want to make sure I visit some places.
Oh, okay.
I didn't get that.
I didn't get that again.
He wants to come to Nigeria and he wants to visit some places, so he wants to send WhatsApp message to the show.
Okay.
So give them your number upstairs. They will get in touch with you.
So I know that you guys carry out public service works, like you go out to residents, help them wash their clothes, and
exactly.
that's you as lawmakers, so to
Yes,
speak, serving.
Yes, ma'am.
What advice would you give to our lawmakers, the adult lawmakers in service?
Okay, for me, I would say that the title given to lawmakers, honourable, the meaning of that honourable means honest. It means to be honest. So what I'm going to say to them is, being honest is saying the truth and standing by it, making sure that what you say is exactly what you do. So that is the concept of the word honourable. So if we want change, we should be the change ourselves. We should start doing things that we want to be done. We are the government of ourselves. We are governments. We are all that we need to be. So let's start doing things.
You're obviously the outgoing speaker because you've been there 3 years now. By December, there'll be a new set of people. Are you involved in this new batch coming in, or they're just going to show up on December, or how is there like a transition process?
Exactly. Yeah, there will be a valedictory sitting for us. Then the incoming sets would be inaugurated.
3 years.
Yes.
So I wanted to ask concerning your future. Where do you see yourself? You've tasted the impact you can have. Would you want to pursue a career in politics, or do you want to study? Where do you project yourself in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years?
Okay.
Politics is a career in Nigeria. Please go ahead.
Exactly. I have plans of going into politics.
Wow.
And I would like to be the one to take Nigeria to the next level, to the promised land where it's supposed to be. So that is the vision.
What
does that mean?
Vision.
You're 18, and those are really lofty dreams, and I really appreciate that. But let's just talk about how, as Tokwe said, you've tasted a bit of some authority now. What do you think, aside from the House of Assembly, what do you think leaders in Nigeria should do? How do we engage the society? I mean, as a future leader, I'd like you to start thinking, what should leaders do today to help us at least make things different?
I think that they should try and be closer to the community. I feel there are a lot of bureaucracies in terms of trying to get across to these people. And when you're not able to reach them, it is somewhat difficult for you to get some things done. Of course, one of the ways to get things done is to be in authority. That's where you have the influence. But the people who are there, there are people, young people in the environment that want to create that change and
want to work with them.
I want to work with them. So going to them, it takes a lot of process. So I think they should be a bit closer to accessible to the community.
Okay, let me take this call. Florence, are you there?
I'm here.
Morning. Go ahead, please.
I'm very happy bringing this type of intelligent boy.
Thank you.
To strategize other youths and other teenagers. And I just want to compliment the parents for giving him the best parental sound and boldness. You know, many parents today shut down their children. And that is why those children are not moving forward.
Yeah.
It becomes stooge in the house. You don't allow your children to participate in whatever you are doing at home. Even with your husband, even with your siblings and everything. Freedom of speech is the best for our children. We lead our children to many places, and our children's life will never remain the same again.
Thank you, Florence.
Like I had a little boy from my junior sister, and that boy was taken to North to help him because the father is late, and that his sister has nothing to do. This boy got to the North, and the Muslim captured him, and they started teaching him Arabic and all the rest. So the lady that took her there quickly sent her back to the mother. Very intelligent boy. Today, he has nothing doing. He's a teenager. No money to go to school. Nobody to help.
Right.
Such boys are many on the road.
Yeah.
I pray that this type of boy, this teenager you brought today, I pray that more of them will come up to change the life.
Thank you very much, Florence. We have to run up. Is there any message you'd like to give to young people out there?
So it's Children's Day.
Yeah, okay. Today is Children's Day. Happy Children's Day to every children out there. I would like to say that today should bring to us the consciousness that childhood is not a function of age. I feel like everybody, both young and old, is a child in the presence of God. And the acronym for child that I created is living in care, humility, innocence, love, and dependency of God, on God rather. I feel like if everyone lives with this as part of our life, I think we would all have a we all live in a Nigeria where everyone is safe and secured. So.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for
We
coming.
have to go on a break. Listen, if you did not get anything from this young man, get this one thing. Parents I'm talking to now. Allow your children to debate in the house. Have a conversation.
Let them express.
Let them express themselves, express their views. It builds confidence. So you can even start an issue. Okay, should we eat fried rice or jollof rice? Hey, everybody, please state their point. Why?
What's your reason?
Let everybody state their point and allow them gradually. They begin to, it builds their confidence. I got that meat from you.
So I'm taking
Thank you very much.
Lovely. Thank you.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So it's said that if you want to hide anything from black men, put it in a book. I think that's changing now. Reading culture, according to reports, seem to be going into extinction. Research also has it that over 250 million children worldwide do not have the basic literacy skill. Join us on the show is the initiator 30 Days Book Reading Challenge. Tulu Habib, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
You can call us again on 070-806-6814. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. All right, so my children's teacher came to me yesterday and told me that I need to get more books for the kids because the books we had, they read everything else. And in my head, I'm thinking, okay, let me call Tokwe and see if she has any books I can, because I didn't think continually buying books. I just think it was a waste of time. I thought it was a bit of a waste of time because I feel like I can actually pass on books and you can give me the books. But how can we parents ensure that kids are actually reading these books?
Okay, so one thing is really important is comprehension. So what's the purpose of reading? Reading is to comprehend. And most times, from my own experience running a library, I realize that sometimes children just breeze through the books and I'm done. So how do you ensure that they really understood, they really got out the benefits of the book? So as a parent, you can ask questions. So ask them to talk about the book to you. You can also ask them to write about what they understood, because one thing I observed is that most children enjoy reading. They're very vocal, but when it comes to writing, they're not that confident. So you can encourage them to write out what they have read, what do they understand, they learn any new word, just basically expressing themselves in a written format.
So I have a very, very funny story. Every time I go and pick up my kids from school, I'll meet a particular one. I have twins. I'll meet that David by they have a bookshelf in the school. He's always going there. He'll go and read every time. So I asked him, what are you reading? He said, I'm just looking at the pictures. So apparently, he would just scan through the pictures. He would take it back, go and pick another one. So it now behoves on you as a parent to start reading the stories and knowing the stories as well. And it takes time. So what can we do when we don't have, like I'm tired.
Exhausted.
Then I'll now be reading their story
and
to
read your
them.
own.
And then I need to read my own book and all of that. Like, how do we make it interesting for them?
Okay, so right now, I know there are not so many public libraries, but there are a lot of private libraries in Lagos, in Abuja, and different cities that exist.
I didn't know of that.
Yes, there are lots of them.
So you just go to the library and just start reading?
Like for the library I run, you can leave your children and there's someone to support them. Once they're done reading, it's quite engaging. We ask questions. We have journals which they have to fill in.
Wow.
Which area? Like on a Saturday morning, you can drop them off at your house.
My library is in Abuja, but I know of other libraries here in Lagos that operate almost the same way I operate. So you drop off your children for us, it's about 3 hours on Saturday, and we have kids who come in consistently every Saturday.
Wow.
Drop them off. It's engaging reading and creative writing. So the first half is to enhance their reading skills. The second half is to enhance their creative writing skills.
Wow, nice.
So I love to read. I grew up reading because I remember now I see my father read often, so I'm sure I took that from him. And I used to go to this library in Asaba then to sit down and read every day. So it became a habit, but then it was more of storybooks that I was reading. Novels, Mills and Boone. Then, so after a while, I lost that reading culture and I started watching movies. So I was more into TV series. I could do 24 in 24 hours. But over time, when I started studying people in leadership, I realized that they all read. They're avid readers. They hardly have time to watch TV. And so because I already built my reading culture, it was easy for me. And so I set up a book club on WhatsApp, but for adults. So we come in there, we read, we do reviews every Friday night. But then for my children, I found out that I had left them behind, so to speak, while I was busy pursuing my own stuff. So one of the things I did was to, because I was reading at home, my daughter picked up that reading. But my son, in fact, if you tell him to read, he starts crying. Right now, I do not know how to get him into that reading culture.
Okay, so you're not alone with this. So I've met someone who's also an avid reader. He's actually a deputy chief of party, and he reads very well.
Okay.
But his children, they don't read. So one of the things I always encourage, you have to give them that alternative. So the TV is off when we have to read.
Okay.
The books are everywhere. They all see books. In the car, we have books. Everywhere, it's books.
Okay.
And I can always say, start off with visiting the library, and sometimes you can read to him.
We don't have a library here.
Okay, so you can also read to him. So let him listen. So some children will enjoy listening, and over time, start to want to read for themselves.
I have a few experiences myself. For my children, my son especially is competitive. So I found a way to get him to read. At first he would say he will not want to read any books, and I love to buy books. And if I have 2K, just know that 1.5 I will spend it on a book. So what I do is I ask them to read. Both of them, I have to be there. So they would read, and then we'll make we'll draw out a page, their names on each side, and then I'll ask questions on what they've read. And as you get the point, I take it out. My son loves that. Like, when are we doing our reading competition? So that's the only time. There was also a time where I was wondering what to do with him because he didn't like to read. And my mom said, give him the books that he enjoys. So every time we go to ShopRite, we buy the comic books. So he reads that. So I know that he's building his vocabulary.
Right. Let me come to parents like me that we're not very reading cultures happy. I mean, I used to read all the time when I was a younger lady. And I used to eat a lot of Miles Monroe. I used to take a lot of
Tom Clancy. Full-time work.
I used to read those books. But at some point, it just faded out. Now, what would you tell a parent who would like to read but doesn't read? And we know that our children also have to read. How do we marry these two issues?
So it's also important that our children see us read, even if it's not all the time, but once in a while. So I was at a gathering on Saturday, and I met a child say, it's not okay when I do something and mom says it's wrong, and when mommy does it, it's okay. So you tell them, read, and mommy, ask them, what do your parents like doing? They say chatting on their phone, watching TV. So they're looking at us. So once in a while, even if it's just fake it, sometimes just hold the book, just to encourage them to read. Right. Because they want to, they don't really listen to what we say, but they look at they're watching what we're doing. Right. So you can model it. And what she said is really, really interesting, running the challenge, which is one thing we do during the summer. It's a reading challenge, which encourages children who don't naturally like to read. And when they know there's a prize, children, I think almost every child loves to win something. So they should be celebrated. When you read a book, we celebrate you. It's really a big deal. So have you read a book today? And I think another thing is for schools to also incorporate that, because it also supports
assume that every child would like to read? Because there's some kids that just really don't care.
They don't like
to read and they're not interested. How do you switch that kind of child?
I think every child would like to read. It's how they've been brought up. It's the environment. Like she also said, find out what's their interest. So if they're always watching TV, they always love animation. Get them a book. So I've met children who love books that have, and they're like 9, they love books that have pictures. Right. So they won't read books that don't have pictures.
Right.
So
At 9?
yes, so you have to find your child's interest and what they like and expose them to those kind of books.
Gotcha.
And over time, they begin to transit to other type of books.
Barakat, are you there? Morning.
Yes, good morning.
Go ahead, please.
Happy Children's Day.
Happy Children's Day to you.
Children's Day.
My contribution is not in any of the topics today. But I was thinking that one of the headlines that you took in Punch, that you make it as the that is the situation of our public schools. Please, I was thinking that it would be one of your hot topics. Because we should not just leave everything for government. Right. Our rich men can donate here, benches.
Exactly.
Thank you, Barakat. You're right. It's the deplorable state of the primary schools. Horrible. And you think that Lagos is an exception. No, Lagos was right there, Bagada.
So now we have this culture of buying tablets for our children. If they are not watching TV, they are playing games on the phones. Is there a way like I know some of these tablets have books, audiobooks that you can introduce to the children. You have books.
Are they really reading those books when they're on the tablet? So you ask yourself that question. Most of the time, they just move to video games. They really are not. So we still have to encourage them to pick the paper books, because even as they grow, you will still read paper books. Your textbooks are in paper books. So
books are expensive, my sister.
Buy.
Okay,
yes,
so
that's why we have that issue. That expensive thing, eh?
Books are expensive.
I will buy maybe 2,500 naira book.
And
one day they finished. With that same day it's done. And I'm done.
No, for me, what I did, there's a lady that supplies us Kulikuli.
Okay.
She sells books.
I'm
one book has like 15 stories.
Yeah.
So there's some
intimidating depending on the child.
So there's some, no, you just read one story. So I say just read one story. So but the book has and it's about 2,000 naira, but it has like a lot of stories.
I bought those little books, like I pack them, and they finish in one day. And I'm like, you just finished the whole 7,000 naira.
I've actually been looking for a parent I can do that with.
Right.
We have
But
lots
your
of books.
libraries,
We can exchange.
But
I wanted to go to schools. When I was going to primary school, we used to have a school library, and we had a library time. But I'm thinking about it. I don't think my children have library time.
It's no more like that in schools these days.
Yes, and I lived also close to a state library. So my mom would just drop us off. In fact, sometimes we come home, she's not at home. It's go to the library. The librarian knows we're meant to be there, and we close. Right. So we don't have that culture anymore. And these private libraries are not everywhere. What do we do? What do we do, like mothers together? What
set up a library. That's what we're going to do, Miriam, after the show.
I know parents who have set up libraries in their homes. And for the private libraries, I can tell you that we have almost everywhere. You just might not know about them. There are lots of them. For me being in the system, I know there are lots of them in Lagos. We have in Abuja. They have more in Lagos than in Abuja where I stay. So we have, and they, I don't know if all of them offer book borrowing, but we do book borrowing. And I know some in Lagos also do that, where you could borrow books. And it also helps the children build that culture of taking care and returning. Because, you know, if you return and it's damaged, there's a penalty, and all that really helps them to also take care of theirs.
What message would you like to tell parents today concerning reading for kids?
So for parents, we have to be deliberate. We can't just leave it to chance and just expect our children will just love to read. So we have to give them book as the main thing and TV as the alternative. So not the other way around, because most of the time we just TV makes. So we did a debate sometime and we asked children, why is TV good over reading? And they said TV is good because it makes sure we don't disturb mommy. And so and that's what we do most of the time, because I'm also guilty once in a while. Like if I don't want disturbance, just say just. So we need to be deliberate. We need to be consistent.
I like that. I have a rule in my house: no TV during the week. But even though there's no TV during the week, they're just doing around. So now we're going to go and read.
Yes, so everybody.
Because honestly,
we don't have TV during the week.
but I think another message I'd like us to go home with is that there are libraries across town, in different states, that your kids can go to over the weekend and spend a few 2-3 hours where you can read, and they can also teach them how to write and what they've read. So that's a good curricular activity they can actually do during the weekends. Fantastic. Thank you so much
Thank you very much.
It's Children's Day. I hope you enjoyed our show as much as we did. Hope you take your kids out today. What, are you guys taking the kids out anywhere
I'm going
today?
to the bouncing castle myself. I'm a child.
That's what he said.
Fantastic.
No, we're going to be visited.
All right, that's all we can take. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.